Welcome to Atlanta. Christ, this Officer 5000, Yahanna, camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's gonna have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander General Yahanna.
Our great and holy King have honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahanna, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. SHALAM.
On Westworld.
Right.
Everything is lawful. Westworld.
The pressure on. I remember bringing nothing home. Make it little just to make it known. Steady, ready, better watch your tone. When I was 5'7", I was breaking bone. I had 5'7", now I want the chrome. 9/11, I was in my zone. Lose the argument or lose your dome. Keep cool, ain't no running up. How damn, now I'm coming up. They coming against me, you dumb or what? You drawing, you done enough. They told me don't rush it, just wait my time. Paying attention, I see the signs. Coming right to me like Amazon. No time for distractions, I'm on the grind. Little shorty, your ticket, she know she fine. Got a couple of so never mind. They throwing the shade cause they know I shine. Reason I'm going in overtime. You stuck in your ways, you keep fantasizing. I just go get it, don't think about it. Don't make it an issue, it ain't a problem. Not too much talking, just organizing. One Westworld, no way around it. Heavy, so you know I'm grounded. Too sturdy, I'm well rounded. Tunnel vision, I don't see a challenge. Get a minute, I'm killing it. Case closed, I don't need a gavel. Know you hate it, don't even matter. New pay, still the same time.
People might, but just never forget that I do not. Always have that fresh in your mind. That I feel absolutely nothing for your pain and your problem. Because I know that all of your pain and problems are a test to make you stronger.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you drowning away, or you gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified.
Seeing if you're gonna step up in
Westworld.
you're gonna run
You stick to
away.
the end, you get glorified. Let's make it official, I'm one of them. One of the greatest, is no exempt. It took me a minute to figure it out. I was struggling, get it made a man. I shuffled the deck and I played my hand. Just give me a reason to put them on you. Didn't believe that I had me a vision. Should I believe that you niggas loyal? We giving up game, they fumbling plays. I'm tired of talking, I'm racked out. Before that we started, they tapped out. I jumped in my duffel and blacked out. What you witnessing is elevation. Glory road to my destination. The haters, it's a celebration. And I put that on my reputation. You in the fall, this a demonstration. Get sick and I know they hate it. One Westworld every season. Hot boy, this dedication. I'm giving game, I don't need favors. Go against us, you won't see the danger. You ain't family, you a damn stranger. I'll beat your ass, I don't need a baby. I don't got time for excuses. I'm plotting on making the killer. I'm getting the feeling, they know that I'm coming, I'm running. Let's get to the business. I was still playing my post, taking the rim like diesel. Don't run with too many people. I don't feel none of us equal. None of us equal.
And there are some brothers and sisters that know that so much, they would never leave you. They would never abandon you. Since you have to stay alive here, they'll stay alive with you.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you drowning away, or you gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified. verified.
They're one West. 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 They're one West.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're...
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're...
Damn, I ain't even have my apocrypha. I'm all over the place tonight. We good? Tap it up. Yabashim Shabaka Thumb. Yahoo Shamata Bashim Yashai to all the brothers and the sisters. It's 2 out of 2. Shepard, any one of these cords is free? The black extension, no? I probably don't need it right now. No. I probably don't need it right now. I could chill for now. Do my favor. I take put it somewhere.
Yeah, shalom.
Yep, some chapter. What's going on, priest?
So absent.
Yeah, I could probably chill for now. I may not need it totally. Could I pull this up some more? It's very tight. Okay, if it's that tight, you shouldn't pass it around anything. Really, I ain't gonna try to upset nothing. Yeah, that's how your run wires short, so you get most play out of them. So now you got some fancy smancy now. So this don't have a point nowhere. It's surround sound. Boy, because you're gonna found it. Who invented this one? Elon Musk. I know Elon in charge of all the damn technology. All right. So tonight we're in DC. We're gonna do, of course, this is scripture breakdown / law class. If you have any questions on law, if you have any questions on any scriptures you would like to get broken down that you don't fully understand, this is where you could get. The topic tonight is slavery in Egypt, slavery in America, right? Black History Month. We're going to learn about what's really happened in Egypt with us, and again, what's going on with us in America the same way. All right, what's going on with us the same way? You all know the Trumpster is at the helm of hell, and he done officially. He can be known as nothing else but Satan. And Satan himself incarnate. All right. So we're gonna get into it. If there's any questions, Bukash, let me know. So that we could rock. Go ahead.
Also, we have phone lines open. If you want to ask a question live, you just call. The number is on the screen. It's 202-989-1950.
All right. It's 202-989-1950. Sound correct? Okay. What the other mics? You all have them? They're rocking? I know, sir. That'll be too wild. All right. So yeah, if there's any questions in the room, anything that y'all want broken down, I know y'all in DC, y'all in the heart of the politics, brother. In the heart of every political decision ever made. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be hitting the streets, so make sure and get everything you need broken down, all right? Go ahead, Yahanna. Go ahead, please.
There's a couple questions online.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Shapara. How would it say Slack out if I may?
Mm-hmm.
What is a bastard child according to the Bible?
Okay, bastard child would be a child that a father does not want or does not claim, to be specific. A bastard would be a child that a father does not claim, right? Really, the child is, what Esau would describe as illegitimate, which is just the wrong way to say anything. Is similar to saying illegal immigrant. Like, how are you illegal? What about it makes you illegal? You're a person. You get the point? So it's the same thing. It's a child that the father doesn't claim, either because he suspects some fall out your pocket too, priest. Either because he suspects some sort of adultery, or this child is the mother of this child is somebody less than who he would marry, or he would breed for a child. All right, that would be a bastard. And of course, there's context for it, right? There's context for it. For instance, the Bible tells you a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? Anybody knows what that scripture is? Give me Zechariah 9 and 6. Who have it read it, all right?
Oh, come. Book of Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines.
Right? A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. That's referring to who? Break it down. And to the sister who asked the question, is there a specific precept you're referring to? Let me know. All right. Go ahead, Shapat.
Is this where Israel was taking on heathen wives again? Specifically talk about that.
This here is in reference to the so-called Jewish man. All right. Where's Ashdod? That's what you might need.
Salaki, sir, if I may.
Come on up.
Ashdod is within Israel, sir.
Go ahead.
So like I was gonna say it's like I wouldn't say representative of Israel, but I believe it's like a territory or a city within the borders of Israel.
Yeah, it's a location in that area where Israel and Palestine is. Right? It's in there, of course, because of how they move the lines. So like Shepard, you could trim this back to it probably was a little warm in here in your you could probably leave one, see how that go. Yeah, that's it. Because of how they move the lines today, and the so-called Jewish man keep taking their territory. But Ashdod is in Israel. So in other words, it's saying a bastard shall dwell in Israel. Who's that talking about? The Jewish man, right? He is claiming a father who does not claim him. You understand? Because to be a Jew, you have to be what? Mike? You have to be a son of Judah. You understand? So he's calling himself Judah's son. Netanyahu got up there last week with Trump and said, finally, the Lion of Judah is roaring again in Israel, talking about the Jewish man. He's claiming to be a son of Judah. Judah said, that ain't my child. You get the point? A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Go ahead.
So she responded.
Go ahead.
She says, Lord, sir, I had a conversation with my mom, and she believes that a man with multiple wives creates a bastard child.
Okay. Her understanding of it comes from Christianity. Your mom's understanding of it comes from Christianity, which teaches that monogamy is the only way. So if monogamy is the only way, your mother cannot wrap her mind around a man having more than one woman and multiple children with different women. Your mother her reality is he has to be in this house. He has to be dealing with this person. He can't possibly deal everywhere else and love them at the same time. She can't wrap her mind around that. So in other words, he'll claim this legitimate wife. That's why the women always press you to go down and get a ring and sign a marriage license, because that makes her the legitimate wife. The other women are illegitimate wives, which means the children from the illegitimate wives are also illegitimate, hence bastard. That's her understanding of it. It comes from Christianity and monogamy. That's not true. Go ahead.
It will be some good precepts to pull on that beat where Sarai gave Abraham Hagar, and he had a son by Hagar. That wasn't his wife, but the Lord didn't call him a bastard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would have been his wife.
Constant.
Yeah,
and also,
you can't never say that. Never say that wasn't his wife, because why? A Christian would say, well, that ain't his wife. You understand? No sweat. Go ahead.
And also, when Jacob had two wives, he had first of all, he had two wives. You know, that's something for it in the first place. Leah and Rebecca, Rachel
and Leah.
And then they also gave their handmaids as wives. And
that's true.
12 tribes.
But brother, if I'm a Christian, I'm going to mix it all the way up, because Jacob? Jacob was only supposed to marry who?
Supposedly Rachel.
He was never ever supposed to have Leah. We boxing right there in that ring. How are you getting out of that? See, he was never supposed to have Leah. He was only supposed to have one. He only wanted one. I wouldn't even go there with it. You get the point? I understand what you're saying, but a Christian who wants to fight you on it, he could say he was only supposed to have one. He only came to Laban for one. He didn't come for the two. Multiple wives is unlawful. It's create a whole mess. That's why he had to get handmaids and chambermaids and all that type of shit. You understand what I'm saying? Well, if you want to do that, I understand. You're a young warrior. You like, you know, you like ping ping ping, go back in the corner, brother. I need 10 seconds. I need a jab, a feint, and he on the ground. That's what I need. I got more shit to do. So like it. Go ahead. Hold on. Go ahead.
Concern, what you said is so true. That I had this debate, and that literally is what was said. It was Jacob wasn't supposed to have all four. He was only supposed to have Leah, and then he got tricked, and so that's why he had Rachel. And then Rachel couldn't have kids because they started competing. See, the competition is you can't do that. That's why you had the women compete. I heard that literal thing you just said, Cap. So like,
I'm trying to tell you. If you don't watch these Christians, they'll lead it down the rabbit hole. I mean, you had to think. You had to think a few steps ahead with a Christian. You have to already know where they're going to go, and you want to shut them down right here in this one scripture, in this one verse right here. They can't move. They can't get out. Go ahead.
I would have pulled the precept where the prophet came to David and gave him that story with a rich man and a poor man, and then he said, if you wanted lands and houses and all this other stuff and more wives, I would have given that to
you. To show that he could have more wives. Okay, the issue here is not the wives. The issue, that's what they wanted to think the issue is. The issue here is what's always the issue? Authority. The issue here is not the wives, is the authority. It's not, because what they'll say, well, a man, you might say, they'll say that's in biblical times when a man could afford to have more than one wife. So why they have a problem with Nicanor? He could afford his children, your children, everybody. He could afford everybody's children. Why they have a problem with him? This has nothing to do with that. And that's where you had to get down to the root of it. The root of this here is authority. Now, flip it. It's acceptable if she comes to you with multiple children by multiple men. Right? That's acceptable. And no, not to us, but I'm talking about like to the sister whose mother had the problem with it. It's acceptable for a woman to have, she just chose wrong. She didn't find the right husband. Those men left her. And somebody has to say, well, you know what? I'm going to step up. Right? That's acceptable in the world, correct? Because of her authority in the world. You get the point? This is an authority thing. This has nothing to do with that. This is what this is. I had sex with them broads. I effed all of them and I bred them. Them children is mine. You don't have to worry about the other children. Worry about the kids I put in your belly. Shut your mouth from now on. That's what this is. What's the argument after that? What's the argument? What scripture they pulling? Penis in vagina equals baby. I did that math a few times. What does that have to do with you? It has nothing. I'm claiming them children. Those my woman, there's my children. End of discussion. Am I asking you to mind them? Am I asking you to do anything? No. And if I do, so what? End of discussion. This is a battle of authority. Never think this is about multiple wives and what's decent. No decent man would have children. Fuck all of that shit out. That's just all. That's just it. This is you and your authority to have what the Lord gave you to have. And that's that. That's it. That's all it is. Now, that's on the back end of it. On the front end of it, you have some woman, you have, before you have sex with her, you have to explain to her what your belief is, back it with the Bible, and ask her to verbally consent to, you will be one of them. Even if you're the first one now, I might see more of you than I might like. What would you do at that point? Before you have sex with her, you have to have that talk. You get the point? You can't have it after. You can't spring it on her. You get the point? She should honor it regardless, but that's just not how it goes. But this thing here with the illegitimate children, it's a question of authority. It's Christian. It comes from monogamy. It comes from the belief that she is the one wife. Like the pastor has what? The first lady. Even that, them Christians so stupid. What if she's the first lady? Who's the second? If she's the first lady of the church, shouldn't that mean there's more? Like the very first black baseball player, the first man to walk on the moon, it got to mean there's more. So how could they not believe in multiple wives when the preacher has a first lady? It got to imply that there's a second, a third, and a fourth, right? The whole thing comes from the whole monogamy aspect, and that the child that comes from the legal marriage, or the marriage that's recognized, or the marriage that has the license that's esteemed, that child is fine because we know that this woman is his wife. The other woman is just woman he have sex with. They diminish the marriage because it's not licensed. So now the children from that will be diminished. You get the point? So that part there is it's an authority thing. That's all that is. It's an authority. It's I'm having sex with you, you my wife. I say so because God says so. Well, no, you had to put a ring on it. I say I had to put a ring on it because the white man say I had to put a ring on it. It's authority. And it just depends on whose authority we go in with. You understand? That's really what this is. The other things now, after you done lay that down, now you could bring all the precepts about other things. But this is nothing. That particular battle there is nothing to do with multiple wives. It's authority. It's if it is you have a child or children with her, you go have other children with somebody else, you love them children more than you love her and her children. That's the battle here. You get the point? And you just have to claim everybody and who vex lost. That's the whole thing. All right. Did she say anything else?
It says the what? Sorry.
No sweat. Now there's also another one. Give me Deuteronomy 23:1. Whoever have it read. Deuteronomy 23:1.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray.
You in Deuteronomy 23 and 1?
I got it, sir.
No sweat.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1.
Go ahead.
He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Verse 2: a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Right. Okay. So what is that? What are we talking about? The first part, of course, is giving you. Moses gave a certain laws on who could enter into the congregation, right? Who could enter in. We need to take these laws to these oppressors, and we find out who can't enter in. Go ahead.
It's like at first when I was hearing that, I was thinking, damn, somebody who who was in an accident or something like that can't come into the temple. But now, because of the times that we're in, I'm thinking trance.
God damn, I didn't even think of that. But shit, Bukash, I think you drove the point home. Read the first one again.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath is his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
So you should definitely use this for that. Put this down with your LGBTQ per Bokwashia. You can't come into the congregation. You go and you take them treatments, right? But of course, this is the Lord making his people what I would say, this is like quality control on a production line where you have, the swoosh is a little too up. It looked like it had 4 lines instead of 3. This is more that with this part here. All right. So when you say a man who's wounded in the stones, could be any kind of wound. It could be a wound from war, or it could be another type of wound that's like an injury or affliction. The Lord does not want that in the congregation. You got to live outside of the congregation. This is not a death sentence. This is saying you can't mingle. You can't be in part of the society. You have to live outside. And there was many societies outside of the main congregation, right? What they would call little people or dwarfism. The Lord said you had to stay outside for a certain amount of time until the offspring is normal. Then that offspring could come back. Because the Lord don't want a whole cross section of the nation having that feature. You get the point? So, and then here, verse 2, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even unto the 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. What is that saying? Let me see where your minds is at. Come on, Mike.
You talking about the 10th generation part?
No, the whole part. Talking about the whole part, bro. Whole part, Mo.
Bastard, send somebody that the father ain't claiming. He can't come back ever. It just mean a very long time.
Okay. You answered. It's a little different to this with this bastard.
Like it, sir.
Go ahead.
Would it be the so-called biracial kid?
Nope. Okay. Nope. This would be a child who cannot prove who his father is. You get the point? It's hard for us to understand now, but before you had to walk around with that staff that says Adam, Seth, Noah, Shem, Isaac, Jacob, Issachar, whichever son of Issachar was your great-great-grandfather, all the way down to you. You had to do that. When you come to the priest for the Sabbath service, you had to state your registry. Now imagine you state in your registry and you can't call your father's name because you don't know who your father is. You not being able to claim your father means you can't come in here. You get the point? You can't come in here. Like, you got to go figure that out. You got to go figure that part out. And whenever you figure it out, you could come back. Even unto the 10th generation, because we don't know who the hell you is. Like, this is a flaw you can't breed out. The other flaws that the Lord said, he gave you generations, meaning by that time, you all, Esau called it, it's natural selection. That thing in biology where they breed, and then ever so often you get this one thing, or I think it's called natural selection. I might be wrong. But the Lord he's the scientist. So he's saying after a certain amount of time, you could breed out whatever flaw it is that he keeping you out for. This flaw, you can't come ever. Even unto the 10th generation shall he not enter. Because we don't know what these generations are. You can't claim your father. You don't know who he is. That's a problem. You understand? That's a huge problem in Israel. Who your father is matters. Give me the house of their fathers. Give me poll them by the house of their fathers. I think it's Numbers. Give me Exodus 12 and 3. Give me Numbers 1 and Numbers chapter 1. Let's start with those two.
Come on, I got Numbers chapter 1.
Come on.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacles of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their fathers. That's how the families is measured. That's how he take what they call that today? Damn, Bakwash, we out? You sure? I mean, it's lit, but shit, I ain't like how the flame go down. Goddamn. Right? Today they call that they do the wrong election type. The word is escaping. They come and knock on the census. Get the point? This is how Israel would take a census according to the house of your father. Right? That mattered. The house of your father mattered. Give me Numbers 1 and 4.
Come on. Verse 4. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers.
Of his fathers. You coming to represent on behalf of who? You get the point? Now, if you don't know who your father is, you better leave the congregation before your father is the ground. Which is why at the Sabbath service, what do you hold up? You hold up a weapon. And if that person can't state their registry, I think according to the law, if I'm not mistaken, because you could correct me if I'm wrong, I think that person dies right there. You come up in the Sabbath service, brother, and you cannot state who your father is. You can't state your registry. How did you make it this far? And you get a parting gift. And it's no different than if you go up in the state capital and the Capitol Police pull out their weapons and say, identify yourself. And you ever stuttering. Yeah, you're going to get some shots. We're going to find out who you are. We're going to find out the corpse. We're going to find out the name of the corpse. But the living man is done. You get the point? Hold on. You have some chapter. All right, where we at?
Usually break it down. You have to represent or know who your father is.
Right.
Coming in the temple.
You have to know. You have to get it. All right. What's the other one I wanted in Exodus? I forget what I call. You can clip this back to
Okay, so it was Exodus 12 and 3.
12 and 3. Let's get that for me.
Okay. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers.
According to the house of their fathers, right? This is always according to the house of your fathers. Who your father is matters. It matters who your father is. It has nothing to do with what you look like. It has nothing to do with how tall you are, how short you are. It has to do with who's your father. Your father's name is always important, has always been important. Only in this empire does your father's name not matter, which is why Christians think a man having multiple women makes bastard children, because they're in essence saying those children don't matter, which is the reverse way of saying he doesn't matter. It's saying his actions doesn't matter. You get the point? His actions very much do matter. He has sex with 6 women, and 6 women is his. Them children that come from them is his. His actions matter, and his actions are very decisive. Where we at? Right. So, sis, I hope you understand that part, right? The part with the two contexts of bastard, right? One is, of course, a child who a father doesn't claim. Another is also that child who, really don't know who his father is, can't provide proof that this is the father. And that's really who we all are. You know what I mean? We say our father is Caesar Borgia. We say our father is, Muhammad. We say our father is everybody else except the God of the Bible. You get the point? I think that's about it on that. Go ahead.
There's another question online.
Come on, let's go.
This is from Yahanna. It says, it's like out of one. If I could, Bible, should I get a breakdown on Habakkuk 2 and 6?
Okay. All right, let me get Habakkuk. Shit, I might need to remember that one. I might have to pass that one up. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Whoever have it, let's read, all right? Right? And also, you'll keep in mind that the whole bastard breakdown and dishonoring a man for the topic when we go into the topic, all right?
Book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, says 6, verse 6. Shall not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? Yes, how long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick clay.
Okay, Habakkuk 2 and 6. Yeah, that part, brother, I'm gonna have to get a breakdown from the journal. Hold on, let me see where we at. Read from 5.
Come on, sir. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine.
Mm-hmm.
He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and keepeth unto him all people.
Mm-hmm. All right. Everybody caught on to that part? Come on.
That's our oppressor.
That's the oppressor for sure. That's a good precept. You could put out with Revelation 17 and 4. Read Revelation 17 and 4. Anybody have it?
Come.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having the golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness.
Right, the golden cup in her hand is the wine that he getting everybody drunk with. Right, they're drinking from that cup filled with what?
Come. In her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
That's what they're getting drunk with. You get the point? That's America. That's the drunk with the drunk on the wine of her fornication. It's not literal wine, but it's the philosophy. That's what America is drunk. It gets people drunk with, gets people seduced with. You get the point? So this Habakkuk 2 and 5 is except for that. Read 5 again. Whoever was reading.
Book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Right, he's proud. That's our oppressor. That's why his symbol is the bald eagle. Proud, standing proud and tall, and neither does he keep at home. This oppressor would not be satisfied with where he was born. He got to go out and conquer and take land and take over this and take over that and expand. He will not keep at home. He is not Jacob. Remember, it says what? Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, chilling, laid back. He had the crib. This Esau, he's out. You get the point? Go ahead.
Okay. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
Right? He enlargeth his desire as destruction. He makes his desires, he makes them big and far and wide, and they turn into destruction, utter destruction for whoever takes them on. Come on.
Like even how he party, like he invented slam dancing. Like, it's not a party till somebody get hurt and it's all mass destruction going on.
Listen, he's not an entire human being. You get the point? Come on.
Okay. Is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations.
He's as death. When he show up, it's just horrible. Whether it's diseases, famine, hunger, he is as death. And what's it say after death? He's as death and what?
He cannot be satisfied.
He cannot be satisfied. That's the oppressor. That's the oppressor right there. He cannot be. You can't satisfy him. If this is good, he want more. If this is better, he want more. If it's the best, you got to create something else. It's always on to the next thing, on to the next one. He cannot be satisfied. Go ahead.
Come. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
That's the oppressor. He takes everybody onto him until it becomes a problem, and then he had to get everybody out. And when he get everybody out, he'd take everybody onto him again. It's the same thing. You get the point? It's the same thing. He's not satisfied with nothing. I was doing some research on that damn CIA, and that what's his name? Allen Dulles, who that Dulles airport was named after. He was in charge of that damn CIA. And who was it under? Eisenhower. Eisenhower passed, and he rolled up under Kennedy. But they're saying before that, when he was part of that government for World War II, I think Eisenhower was that president in World War II. Eisenhower told them ultimate surrender. That was the orders. And at this time, that Dulles, he was working as a spy in Europe for America. The orders was ultimate surrender. This fool decided he's going to make deals with the Nazis because he had some other ulterior motive. He wanted the Nazis' security and war structure they had. And they, what's the word they use? It means like materials. I forget the word they use. But he wanted to get in intimate knowledge about it to turn it back on the Russians, who, despite Russia helping them, he saw Russia as America's number one enemy. So his leader giving him some order, he has a greater appetite, a different goal. And they say he betrayed every president he ever worked with. They say he was the master of the dark arts of the CIA. They say he was the master of it. You see, you go through his whole record, and he served under, like, I think 6 presidents or something, 6 or 8 presidents. See, every president he worked under, he was doing some covert bullshit. Go ahead.
Like, sir, that's why, like, even in like the movies, they always portray that the president doesn't know everything. I think he's one of the main reasons why, like, the CIA always got something else they working on that they don't inform the president.
Well, I don't know if that's the reason why they put it in the movies. They could be giving the president a plausible deniability for legal purpose or to make you think so. But for sure, these fools here, he was really just running how he saw fit. And there was no stopping him. They say even when they deposed him of the damn seat, he was running the CIA from not even the CIA office. You know what I mean? Like this oppressor, once he sets a goal, his ambition, like Trump, his ambition is just, there's nothing going to stop him. He just going to do whatever, whenever, however, as much as he like. You get the point? That's what the CIA is saying. All right. Read 6 now. Come on.
Amount about the outer that's like, sir, is this a 12 description of Trump and his desire for Palestine?
I'll take that. You could use it. You could definitely use it. He wouldn't keep at home. He wants to heap people onto himself, doing the same, and with the state of Israel. Like what he did was placating to them so he could heap them onto himself. He's heaping all these European nations onto him. The Trump effect is not just in America, you know. They're talking about the Trump effect in Europe, in UK. I'm watching the news over there, and they're all concerned about the Trump rhetoric with the white British nationalists, because they thought they had put that down at the end of Trump's last term, because they had a few white nationalists in Britain that was leading a whole charge against kicking them Arabs out, them Arabs who was forcing the Muslim way. And they arrested a few of them and went away. But they're saying this resurgence of Trump with Elon Musk owning Twitter, and potentially he could own TikTok. They say the influence, they wouldn't be able to stop Trump. They ain't gonna be able to stop him because he'll have access to influence wider margins of people. So it's happening all over. It's happening in the Netherlands. It's happening in UK. It's happening in France. The whole white nationalist type of pride is on the rise again. You get the point? So don't think it's just here. It's having an effect all over the place. All right? Go ahead. Whoever was reading. Let's pick up from 6.
Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him? A taunting proverb against him? And say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Right. So that's what people would say. All these, meaning all these people who he heaping on himself, will they not take up a parable against him, and they'll taunt him and say, what the hell is wrong with this fool? You big-headed fool. You this. They'll start saying stuff. Right. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. So this is definitely, you could use this for Trump, because he talking about making a whole mall out of the Gaza Strip. He talking about putting, the MGM on the Gaza Strip. With the Rivera, that's what he said, turn it into a whole Rivera. Like, so now you got to ask yourself, was this part of the plan with him and Netanyahu all along, which is why they was bombing the Gaza the way they was? Like, this probably had nothing to do with quelling Hamas and putting, fire to Hamas. This probably was a long-term plan for real estate.
Started when NATO and all them made him a war with Netanyahu a war criminal,
right?
And they came to America like, what do y'all think? And they stated it, America, you got the world, y'all rules, and then we have our rules, and America wasn't against it, so he was just here.
I forgot about that too. You were right.
Over there on 14th and G.
Listen, they made him a war criminal, meaning if he goes to certain countries, they're obligated to arrest him and turn him over. He came straight to America and got a presidential welcome. You get any point? What would people say now? Woe to you who do this and you doing that. You're just too greedy. You're just gobbling up everything. Go ahead.
Okay. How long? And to him that ladder himself with thick clay.
Right? That like ladder yourself with thick clay is like heaping onto yourself more and more and more. You get the point? Is like that's what it's saying. It's like how long will you get the fatted calf? Or how long will you put more butter on your bread? You get the point? It's like that's what he's saying. How long will you just keep doing it? And when would you stop? Like when would you people stop? You have enough already. You have, these wealthy people in America argue over taxes when their bottom line is in the trillions or billions, high billions. And we're talking about taxes or paying people more. And they don't want to even lose any money, but they figure out ways to tax you more and make you work more hours that would make them more rich. They laden themselves with heavy clay. How long will you just keep heaping onto yourself? Keep going.
Okay.
What verse he wanted it up to?
It was just 6.
Just 6? Oh. You get the point, right? Just read on one more.
Okay. Verse 7. Shall they not uprise suddenly?
Shall they not rise up?
Shall they not rise up suddenly? That shall bite thee, and weight that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Right?
How long will it be before all these people who you heap it onto yourself turn on you and rise up on you and strike to bite you without you even knowing, and you will be the prize for them instead of them being the prize for you, like how it usually goes. Come on.
Let me say this whole chapter is about our oppressor.
I mean, when you get the whole spirit going down, that's what it is. Read the next verse. The next verse is cold.
It's like I mean,
come on.
This is where woe to him that buildeth the city in blood.
Woe to him that built a city with blood, move his neighbor's landmark. All that, right? Obadiah. If thieves come to thee by night, when they will be cut off. You get the point? All this is them. Read verse 8.
Verse 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations.
Because thou hast what?
Spoiled many nations.
It spoiled many nations. You look at the history of all these nations, it's spoiled. Back to that CIA again, but I think I'm gonna have to do a whole dossier on them motherfuckers, and I'm gonna make sure and salute every brother after that, because surely they're gonna put something straight to my head after this one. They say that Dulles brother was behind the downfall of many uprising third world countries. And in some cases, the problems that happen in America. Like that. Yep. That's classic CIA tactics.
What did you say was?
They say he was responsible for many of the downfall and destabilization in many upcoming third world countries. And of course, America's enemies and some problems locally in America as well. What they thought was problems was really the CIA. Right? That's it. They say that same Dulles he was spearheading all that shit in secret. And he's not doing it to take power. He's doing it because in his mind, this needs to be done for the country to move forward, for the empire to thrive. You see the same thing like what Trump doing now? Is damn near that same type of spirit. Like certain things have to happen. We got to crack a few eggs if you want to make an omelet. Like that type of shit. Go ahead.
I'm gonna look it up, but is Dulles Airport named after him?
I believe it's named after that family. Is a family. His brother was the Secretary of State at that time. He was the chief of the CIA. His older brother was Secretary of State. So his older brother had power. But that younger one, once he became head of the CIA, he made the CIA into something that the Secretary of State didn't even have. Go ahead. You could look it up though, just to make sure. Right? Go ahead.
Their directive, I would say, is they were only to operate abroad. They wasn't supposed to operate within the U.S.
Yeah, he didn't read that memo. he did not read that memo. You get the point? All right, read on in verse 8.
All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood and for the violence of the land of the city and of all them dwell
and of
all that dwell within
therein, right? They're gonna rise up against it, and that's what's fitting to happen. And so it's destabilized with Rome and Greece. That's what's fitting to happen because you're oppressing so many people at the same time. Eventually, these people are going to push back, and it's going to be an issue. All right. So I hope that clears it up for you, brother. That's as best as I could remember. All right. Any more, Bukwash? No sweat. So good. Slavery in Egypt, slavery in America. If any more come up, just let me know. All right. Just raise your hands if you all had questions in the room, any breakdown, anything. Let's get it now. All right. So slavery in Egypt, slavery in America. Commander General Yahanna coined that phrase. Got to be 2006, 7, something along that. You all see that sign we have, slavery in Egypt, slavery in America? He's the one that came up with that sign to show the parallel of the slavery in Egypt and the slavery in America, right? Many people have, used that as a springboard to launch lectures and this and that. Farrakhan even stole it and did a whole series on the thing, but that came from what Commander General Yahanna said, because prior to that, nobody compared our slavery in America to Egypt, right? Now, what you see now is exactly what went on in Egypt, and I'm talking about us on every level, but tonight we're talking about the social aspect of us, right? Give me Exodus. Let's start there, and also keep in mind the whole thing before with the father and the we call that thing, the bastard child. The whole thing we just broke down. All right, give me in the beginning of Exodus with the sisters delivering the baby.
Go to Exodus chapter 1.
It's right there. It ain't far in. What do we want? 2? No.
Verse 18, sir.
1 and so we're gonna start at 1 and
15, sir.
I want to start at 8, really. Let's start at 8. Right? Let's start at 8. Before we start there, who has a Bible dictionary? You have one? Let me get Ham. All right, let's start there. Just to be a little bit thorough for anybody who new might be listening. Also, too, because see if you could find the graphic. You might be able to find it in the Google pictures of the slavery in Egypt, slavery in America sign. You could also put that up on the screen for anybody who might be newer, who may not know for sure. All right, let me get Ham Bible Dictionary. You have it? You got it? Soon as you're able to.
Ham in a Donovan Bible Dictionary, the youngest son of Noah.
Right. You know who Noah is? Noah survived the flood. Right. That great flood that happened that drowned everybody except what? 8 souls, right? Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their 3 wives. All right, go ahead.
Come, sir. the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Right? He was the youngest of Noah's son. He was the young one. All right.
And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood.
Mm-hmm.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Go ahead.
Not the Negro.
Right. Ham is the father of the dark races or the dark-skinned races, but not the Negroes. Who are the Negroes? This so-called African American, the tribe of Judah is the Negroes in the West Indian Islands. Those are also the Negroes, the Haitians. They will also be considered Negroes. But he is not the father of those people. He's the father of the dark nations, like.
Okay. But the Egyptians, Ethiopians.
The Egyptians who are African. That's who we're dealing with now. Africans. The Egyptians are the Mitzrayim or Matazarium, right? Some of y'all quote unquote scholars, quote unquote, y'all call it Cam or Kem or Kemet. Is the land of Cam and all this nonsense. The Egyptians are Africans. That's the bottom line, and they're not Israelites. Go ahead.
Okay. Ethiopians.
The Ethiopians. This is Cush, Kawash in the Hebrew. They are the sons of Ham. They are not Israelites. Go ahead.
Libyans.
Libyans are what? North Africa? Those North Africans, Libya, Morocco, Algeria, all them areas. Those are Africans, but they are not the sons of Israel. You get the point? Go ahead.
Okay. And Canaanites.
And Canaanites, who are the South Africans today. Those are all Africans. Ham is the father of the Africans. Egyptians are Hamites. Come on.
The Libyans, they'll be like the Putites.
Libyan is Put. I think it's Put. Who's Powat? Who's Powat? Who's Put? I believe that's the North Africans, Libyans. I believe so. I might be wrong on that part. Right? It's Canaan. You have Cush or Kawash. Put, I believe, is them North Africans, Libya, Morocco, Algeria, all of them areas. Those people from there, those would be Put or Powat. All right. Go ahead. Come on.
See, I'm going to say Kana.
Oh, no sweat. Go ahead. Any more? We good with that? Go ahead.
Sir.
So now the point I'm making is Ham is the father of the Africans. We are not African. We are the children of Israel. The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians. We are the children of Israel. They are the children of Ham. This is 2 separate races we're talking about here. 2 absolutely separate races, separate nations. One was the slave master. The other one was the slave. All right. So now give me Exodus 1 and 8.
And this is the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Verse 9. And he said,
right, and they say knew not Joseph because why? Joseph was very, very intricate and important into the survival of Egypt and also all the empires around Egypt because he saved up Egypt's storehouses. Other empires was able to benefit from Egypt having stock, right? And come on.
Hence, when the Lord said He raised up Pharaoh just to show His power in him, it's because they Israelite. That's how the Lord did it.
Well, definitely, but even beyond that too, the Lord raising him up, made him prosperous in everything. You get the point? Okay. And it's really to show His power. I really wouldn't even attribute it to Israel. I just say the Lord raised him all the way up. But you're right, though. You're definitely right. And because of us, they get to be so high. Okay. Get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Verse 10.
Right. So this Pharaoh, this new king that rose up, he said the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we are. We're 2 different people. We're not the same. And this African, he realized, what's up, Bakwa?
No, I was just trying to find the.
Oh, you're unable to find it? Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. If you're able to find it, that's all right. That's all right. That's totally all right. He said, listen, man, these Israelites here are way more and mightier than we are. They're beating us on two fronts. They're outbreeding us, and they're mighty. They're stronger. They're better. They're more powerful than we are. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. Lest they multiply and it come to pass.
Right? You say, listen, let's deal wisely with them. Lest they multiply and what?
And it can come to pass.
Go ahead, keep reading.
That when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us.
Right, and that's going on now. That's going on now. Before this whole critical race theory, or right around the same time, the oppressor had another theory that was concerned with what? America would soon look more brown than white. What was it called?
So, like, if I may, sir.
Come on, please.
The Great Replacement Theory, sir.
Great Replacement Theory. That these brown nations and black nations was, excelling at breeding. I don't know how that's a surprise that the homosexuality he practices breeds nothing. I don't understand how he's surprised that his math is ending up with 0. So they said this great replacement theory, where eventually they would now be the new minority in America. That's what they thought. And they done said, listen, we have to deal wisely with these fools here. Go ahead.
And so get them up out of the land.
Right. And so they wanted to get us up out of the land. You see what's going on now, though, right? They're trying to get us up out of the land. You saw the little Asherite sister down there. Lord, help her dumb behind. Talking about you tricked us. But you would see them brothers down there in Florida saying the white man is the devil and say something wrong with them. You would see the brothers down there in Florida saying, don't trust this devil. He was a liar from when? From the beginning. He speaketh of his own when he tells a lie. You say, we crazy. You trust him and he deport every Latino legal or illegal. And you shocked. Go ahead. What's the feedback, huh? Mike, just mute the mic if there's a feedback. Until the brother ready to speak or whoever ready to speak, all right? Go ahead.
Verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmakers, taskmasters, to afflict them with their burden.
Right, and they set over them taskmasters. Taskmasters is what? Another word for your supervisors. Your supervisors, your managers, your boss, to afflict you more with your burden. And how long has America, especially black and brown America, been complaining about what? Working long hours and still can't pay the bills. Working long hours and can't see your way. It doesn't make any sense because they done afflicted us with taskmasters, right? They afflicted us with taskmasters and did what?
And they built for Pharaoh. Treasure?
No, they afflicted us with taskmasters. They set over them taskmasters
to afflict them with their burdens.
To afflict us with burdens. At one time in America, you could have had, in fact, the world, you could have had a one-income household where one parent is home dealing with the kids and sending them to school and picking them up, and the other parent is working. And you could have a whole house, a full house with a backyard and a car with that shit. How is it now 2 people working and we have less? I'll tell you how. They never increased the salary. They just took the one salary and split it. You understand? That's what's really going on. That's why even a two salary home is still not enough, because as the time grew, you would have had that one person making that put together that one amount. That's what one person should have been making. They done did the whole thing and split it down, and now you're thinking it's progress and it's not progress. They just afflict us with burdens. We are afflicted with burdens. Your slavery is a burden. It's an absolute burden. Now, I'm not telling you walk off your slave. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm giving you understanding so you don't go blow your brains out. So you could stop getting high in the car and the parking lot on your lunch break. So you could stop, just abusing yourself because you're confused and your mind is hurt because you can't make sense of it. I'm trying to give you some understanding that this is the symptoms of Egypt. It's the symptoms of slavery that we're suffering. All right, go ahead.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and
Ramses. Right? They built for Pharaoh treasure cities. What's a treasure city? Mike?
Cities that bring in a lot of money.
The cities just generate so much money, so much cash. What would be a treasure city today?
New York City.
New York is a treasure city. Vegas is a treasure city. Vegas is probably the treasure city. If you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, go ahead.
And in the future, Gaza.
Gaza is a potential treasure city. You get the point? It's a potential treasure city. But we built Pharaoh treasure cities like Pithom and Ramses, which was famous cities, right? And we built for them here famous cities, treasure cities, out the dirt, out the ground, and probably still building them with our economy, right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
And isn't that something we say now? That's Busta Rhymes had a song with Nas on that album talking about we just like cockroaches. The more you try to kill us, we multiply. We just don't die. You get the point? You look at what they did to us historically. You have nations right now crying genocide and extinction for experiencing a short period of time of that. Like them people on the Gaza, they clear who the enemy is. They didn't have to deal with crack cocaine and heroin coming in there. They don't have to deal with a whole other religion that teaching you to love your oppressor. Imagine that. Imagine the psychological damage. Yeah, they had to deal with bombs, but they could curse the oppressor out, honestly, in genuine spirit. They know who the enemy is. We getting killed every day, and we don't know who our enemy is. We've been getting killed for decades, if not centuries, with the same thing, and don't know. And then they bring their friends to take advantage of us. They bring the Chinese, they bring the Japanese. These other nations have not suffered what we have suffered at all. Not in one bit, not in the least bit. You could look at them and have sympathy for them, but brother, they ain't got no sympathy for us because nobody cares about what happened to us. Go ahead.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Not that we did anything to them. They just got grieved because of us. That's Trump with your DEI. Why the helicopter crash? Too much niggas flying planes? And that's what he said? Right, you're looking at me crazy. That's not what he said? Because you don't even know. Come on.
He said that must have been diverse hiring.
Yeah, he said it's all this diversity hiring y'all doing. In other words, all these low educated niggas and spicks y'all got flying planes. That's why this crash happened. That's what he came out and said the Thursday morning. Wednesday night the plane crashed, Thursday morning he blamed it on DEI hiring. He said that's why these practices got to go out the window because we need higher quality pilots like white pilots. That's what he said. They were grieved because of Israelite. And that's what's going on right now, and it went on back then. Just then, the fact that the multiplying was a problem for that new Pharaoh. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and the brick. And
read it one more time. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with vigor. Read it from there.
Okay. Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
With rigor. meaning the how we serve them. The type of slavery we were under them was rigorous, was very physically demanding. You get the point? And that's the jobs of most of our people today. So it's physically demanding. Even the sisters, they gotta clean something, cleaning all day, changing somebody diapers, lifting somebody up. You get the point? That's how we are. We got to serve them with rigor. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
Everything we did was rigorous, whether in mortar or brick or in the field. They increased our burden. They made us serve with rigor. And that is what the hell is going on with us right now. How are they making us serve with rigor? How have they increased our burden? Y'all don't all rush to answer now.
So like I say,
how have they? Go ahead.
Could it be the extended hours to start
the
with?
extended hours? Why are they giving us extended hours?
Because
let me rephrase it. Okay, our people now are asking for extra hours. Why are we asking for extra hours?
Because the salary is not enough.
The salary is not enough. Why the salary not enough? They're raising the cost of living.
Right.
That's what's going on. They're raising that cost of living. So the salary is not matching with the cost of living. I remember old school, they used to teach you something called COL and SOL. COL was cost of living and SOL was standard of living. The standard of living is what you would describe as how you enjoy your life. Do you have a good standard of living or a bad standard of living? Is it okay? Could it be better? And then they relate that to the cost of living. And different countries has had different cost of living. That would mean your standard of living in one country might be better because food is not that expensive there. They don't have luxury, but the food is cheap. Medical is okay. They enjoy a better standard of living. You get the point? Other people, things are more pricier. Things are higher. They don't enjoy such a good standard of living, but they want to live there. No matter where you are in Israel, the cost of living is ridiculous. The cost to live, what it costs you to live, you cannot sustain. So you have to get extra hours, 2 jobs, when these bastards could just pay you more so you work less. You get the point? They could just pay you more so you don't have to work less, but now they're increasing your rigors. They're increasing it. And they're sitting at the top and wouldn't take 1 penny short. They wouldn't take 1 cent short on their profit end, but you had to suffer every day. You have to now make 1 loaf of bread work when you really need 5. You understand? You had to now make, 5 pounds of meat work when you need 20 pounds. But you had to find some way to stretch it and make it work and mix it with something else, or just do what a ton of Israelites do. You just don't eat at all. You eat 1 meal for the day, your last meal. You get some coffee or some hot tea in the morning if you're so fortunate, and you rally the day with that. Drink water. And you eat a little bit at night to make that thing last, because it's just too expensive to live. It's just too expensive to live. You're seeing more and more now, the tribe of Israel is coming together and bunching up in houses or apartments and breaking down our apartments. You got 3-bedroom apartment, you got 3 apartments out. You're just sharing a bathroom and a kitchen. When before, in times past, you could have an apartment, somebody else have one. Now, not because you all just want to be close to each other. This is necessity. This is for necessity's sake. You're piling in together because it just costs too much to have your own, which is how the oppressor wants you. His whole lifestyle. What do you think fast food was for? What do you think fast food was for? The whole the drive-through. You know, that whole drive-through was an innovation with fast food. Before you used to have to pull up and go inside. Now you could cut a window in the wall. Think about the type of animal you got to be to say, man, just cut a window in the wall and push the food through there. Why do you have fast food? What's the purpose of it?
You cut the time down. Now you got more time to work.
Now you got more time to work. So, boss, I can't work these hours. You know how to go home and cook. You got to cook? You don't got to cook. Just pass drive through. 2 minutes, you got food. You can eat in the car. That's all. You can eat in the car. Like all these technological advances that you think is helping you is hurting you. You understand? You're not even cooking your food no more. You're not even interested in what you're putting in your body. As long as it stops the pain in your stomach or the pain in your brain, fine. Cause I got to get to work. Hurry up with my order, man. I gotta get to work. How many times you hear and see that shit? Forget about if you stop for coffee. Yeah. You stop for coffee, you pull up by Dunkin', 10 cars in front of you. You're laughing because you all know. You pull up by Dunkin' Donuts and you contemplating, do I really need coffee this morning? Target sell coffee makers for about $30. You buy a little pot, you brew coffee for the whole week. Go ahead, Al.
They ain't got no black owned products.
They ain't got no one?
Yeah, no Tajay, no.
Listen, with Dunkin' Donuts don't got black owned products either. Coffee ain't nigga, you know.
The coffee black, sir.
The coffee black.
Slakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Just the other day, I was speaking to somebody concerning this as well too now. It's just as you make mention that, like with cooking, we own food now, right? And these heathens and them take full advantage of it because they know that how we will always be on the move. So we're bringing out it's so valid just to keep us slaving 24. They would come up with the theory that they are the chief chef of this meal. So now black people are accustomed cooking. So now they take that flavor and they turn it over to their flavor. So now they know what we want to eat. So now you'll find all the restaurants and them, serving us with our delicacy. Because when you watch where these heathen eating, is no way close to where black people eat. So like when you watch the Chinese, you say, hey, them don't eat with a cook. We just eat with a cook. But when you watch with them cooking and what they're eating now, is we rolling all them mad. So how we could eat from somebody who cooking, different from us. So now again, everything on point is
yeah, that's it. Like they need you on that salary, they need you on that plantation slaving, so that you don't have to worry about how much pounds of rice to buy. In fact, after your slave just go by the gate, they have some heathen relative who have a food truck. Or in fast food, if you're in America, in the Caribbean, that's what they do. There's some cousin they got, some East Indian cousin, or some Hamite, or some Chinese there, and they're selling food out of the thing, and it's convenient, and you're hungry, so you're going to eat. The thing is set up against you, and all it has to do is make sure to minimize your time off the clock, so you could devote more time on the clock. They increase your rigors. Life just seems to be so hard. You ever notice black people, we just eternally tired? You're just tired. Like, you go to sleep, you tired. You ever notice on your day off, you wake up early still, you wake up, you don't sleep in. But when you had to go to work, you can't get up. Brother Esau does studies on that. The trauma from slaving at a slavery that's not paying you, your mind can't really rest. Because it's like, how I'm going to pay these bills. So even though you're sleeping, when you wake up, you ain't really rested. So you're dragging because now you got to go to this plantation. And on your day off, in your mind, I don't have nothing to do, so I could rest. So your mind rests, but then you're up again. We're not living a normal life, we not what the life we live in. People, the average person thinks that's just how it is. That's not just how it is. That's what we're talking about. That's not just how it is. We're living a high stressed life. High stress, always the ante is always up on all the type of life we live because we're serving with rigors. Just like Pharaoh made us serve in Egypt. The same slavery in Egypt, slavery in America. Let's keep reading. Whoever's reading. Verse 15.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shipra.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the other was Shalakia. The name of the other Pure.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then he shall kill him. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live.
All right. So the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, spoke to the Hebrew midwives and said, listen, man, when these women come in here to multiply, so not only are they plaguing us with these ridiculous slaveries and the rigors and the hardship of slavery, which really comes from not paying you a fair day's wage. You get the point? It comes from even in the Bible, biblically by law, a man slave for you, you're supposed to pay him that same day. If you think online, somebody find it for me, but you can't hold his wages beyond that. This whole thing where you had to go slave 2 weeks in. You know how much people don't take the slavery because of that? Because how are you going to get to work? So now I had to go borrow money to come to work for you 2 weeks before I get my first check. And when I get the first check, I had to do what? Pay somebody back. You're in a constant cycle of starting from behind. You get it, boy? Say it again.
Deuteronomy 24:15.
Deuteronomy 24 and 15. Go ahead, Shepard. You have it?
So like I got it, sir. This is one of my this is one of my favorite scriptures because for the life of me, Cap, since I've been an adult, I never understood. It just never resonated with me how I have to wait 2 weeks to get paid when I did work. It's like my mind always has been accustomed to, and it might have came from just watching my pops do jobs and seeing him get paid right after the job. So, and then when I found out this was in the Bible, I said, well, surely, what's the scripture would say? The law within us. because I said, for the life of me, it does not make sense why I got to wait 2 weeks or a week. I should get paid every shift.
It makes absolutely no sense. They for sure pimping the hell out of you. It don't take that, and they'll try to make you feel that that's just how it is because it takes time for them to make a profit off of the work you do. They don't let them. The person who is the owner take the loss, but you come into slave. You're supposed to get your wage at the end of the day.
That's right.
Not supposed to make a man wait for that. You didn't wait on his labor, so don't make him wait on the pay. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 15. At this day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee.
Right, like you can't hire a man and then decide to hold his wage. It's different if you say, listen, man, I need this done, but I could pay you then, and it's our agreement. But how they do it where they force us, like you in a position now where this is the norm. It ain't supposed to be like that, man. And this oppressor, he's the absolute master of that type of craft. He's the absolute master of that type of craft. When he goes to do a contract, you got to give him the money up front. When you come to work for him, you got to wait 2 weeks. It's ridiculous, and some of these contractors is horrible, brother. The 2 weeks come, and you got to go and sit on their doorstep. You got to go and sit with their child after school for them to take you serious. You got to go and sit down right there. Hey, daddy, look who I found. This is my new friend, Mashak. He say he knows you. Hey, how you doing, sir? They put a hand around the child. What's going on? You ought to get extreme with some of them. You get the point? So I'm going to confess now. Say, I put the blade right here.
And this again, this is so crazy because you know they even use the point where they try to tell you fortnightly now, and it's like the whole year ransom for a whole month. So imagine you without food, just as the scripture say, the poor, because now you're depending on that bread, and a whole month now, and on top of that now you're still coming at the end of the month now, and then shorten you. So it's like you just only it's like slavery to the highest level.
Yep. And let me tell you what has happened from that. A lot of brothers and sisters cannot hold out. So they'll bounce before they get a check, which means this oppressor just got what? Free labor. And then they'll go and hire somebody just to replace them. You know how much of these oppressors do that? And sometimes they'll frustrate you to try to make you leave before your check come so they could just pocket the damn money. Like we under serious, tremendous bondage, and which is, you know, we serve them with rigors, ridiculous rigors. Now, on top of that, they decide to make sure and destroy the life of any of your future, right? I'm not saying this is not saying the girl babies are less of a future, but the men is how your nation carries on, because men carry seed. You want to destroy a nation, you destroy the men. And Pharaoh was killing the babies, the young babies. That's what today. What is that today?
Abortions.
That's your Planned Parenthood. That's your Planned Parenthood today. What Planned Parenthood is doing, that's what they're doing. Pharaoh said, listen, if it be a boy, kill the boy. If it's a girl, let the girl be. But if it's a boy, you kill that boy. Now they got us doing it ourselves. Now they got us doing it ourselves. Give me also Deuteronomy 28. You know, one for one of all things. 28 and 50 some. Psalm 54.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Exactly, 52 and 53.
Okay. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down.
That's the oppressor. He besiege you in all your gates. Everywhere you are, he's there. And he lay siege to you. Get the point? He lay siege to you. Go ahead. Okay. Until all your protection, all your strong, you know, whether it's physical walls or your, you know, what you have set up in your community, the men and women you have set up as high walls, as protection, until they all come down. Go ahead.
Come. Wherein thou trusted throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee.
And that's what's going on right now with ICE. Besieging you in your own land throughout your gates till everything come on down. Wherever you are, he besieging you. You know what's to lay siege? It's to surround a dwelling in a way that nothing goes in and nothing comes out. Your children not going to school because the parents is in fear of being taken away when they come to pick the kids up. You know, much of our people did not go into the hospital during COVID because of the same thing. And bastard ICE agents would post up in the hospital and, you know, snatch you up right there. You come in for treatment. That's the oppressor we live under. Go ahead.
So could you also say that for like your spirit as well?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But which is why you had to come in the Israelite school at UPK and become free.
Yeah.
And become free to despise this oppressor with every inch of your fiber. You could do it without, feeling of remorse, without feeling loyal to some Christian God who would have you bend over and love your oppressor and take everything he given you. Where you could now call him to his face what the hell he is and know what he is and understand what the hell he doing and know that his end is coming. You should be free to think that. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
Say it again.
And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
Go ahead.
The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
Right. So this is specific because this happened when the Romans surrounded us. They say that in the Josephus, it tell you the people were smelling food cooking and tore down some woman's door and she's cooking her baby. So this is specific in the prophecy, but also devouring the flesh of your seed is abortion. Right? And I'm going to prove it here too. All right. Skip to verse 56.
Verse 56. The tender and the delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
Right, and that's what's going on now with us now. They done turned our woman into evil monsters towards their men and their children. You understand? And it's because of oppression. It's because of the rigors. It's because of the sore strokes they lay on us in our everyday lives. It's going to drive you into insanity. It's going to drive you to serious mental health, situations, serious mental health episodes. Because nobody is supposed to be able to live like this. You understand? Nobody is supposed to be able to do it. Listen, animals in the zoo and in the circus go berserk after a while. They say, yeah, what happened to so-and-so? They just snapped. Who the hell knows? Because of oppression. Go ahead.
It's a lot saying it as it speaks of it. Our women were so delicate, like, they wasn't doing work like they do nowadays. But you got women today, they think they a man. So I had a woman the other day didn't want me to stand back while she walked through the door first. And I could see what's going on because her girlfriend walked through first. Had no problem walking through.
Right.
But she wanted, you go ahead. Nah, just go ahead. Let me do my job. I'm a dude. I kept saying, I'm a dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I literally said to her, so what's really going on? You got something going on that's making you not want to walk through? Because I'm a man. I'm not supposed to go through first.
Right.
I was taught. You know what I'm saying?
You better than me. Huh?
No, I'm just saying. Like,
hold that door, bitch. Hold that door, bitch. Hold it. One hand, too. Because that's what I do. I ain't using two hands and chucking the door with my foot because your shoulder's too weak. You ain't got man shoulders.
Like, it was an automatic door.
God damn. So what the hell is her problem?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just telling her, go ahead. Like, this is what dudes do. And I kept stressing like, this is what dudes do. You know what I mean? So what's your problem?
See, I said, go ahead, sis. Go on, sis. You go ahead, sister. Go ahead. Dainty old thing. Go on. But I get you. But once again, it's the life we live in now. The life we live in is just a horrible life. It's not a life for anybody. You know what I mean? It's absolutely not. Let's keep going.
Life. 56.
57.
Come, sir. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them, for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness.
She shall what?
Eat them.
She shall what?
Eat them.
For what?
For want of all things secretly.
For want of what?
All things.
For want of what?
All things.
All women are destroying our babies for want of all things. When you ask them why they come into abortion, it happened in the middle of school. I need to finish my degree. I can't have a life with no baby. This baby is going, I'm too young. For want of all things, you devour this baby secretly. That's your Planned Parenthood. You wrap that scarf around your head and wear them big shades like Mary J. Blige and go up in there and wait till they call your name, and you get them some fake name too. Miss Jackson, Next broad, Miss Jackson. Everybody's Miss Jackson. You go up in there secretly, and you don't understand that this oppressor is doing to us the same thing he did back then. The only difference is we don't got Pua and Shifra to say F you. Get the point? We don't have that. We have people saying, you know, shout your abortion, go on and get it. It's your right. The baby's not even alive. Just go ahead and do it, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Right? In the straightness. Go ahead.
Like if I could, when they say the baby's not even alive, but they go to the doctor and hear
a heartbeat.
The heartbeat.
Yeah, heartbeat. They sell the cells from the fetus for stem cell research. You need something living for that shit. You can't stem cell something dead. It's sick. You know what I mean? In the straightness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. And that's what's going on now. Our enemies are distressing us in our gates. It's happening to us now, and it happened to us back then in Egypt. All right, let's go back to Exodus. Where we at? Verse 16. Read verse 16 one more time. All right. You gotta always hold your page, right? Mark your page down. You young officers or young troopers, make sure you always mark your page because you will always come back to read. All right. You have it?
Verse 16. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then he shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17. But the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them.
The midwives what? Feared who?
God.
As opposed to who? As opposed to who? Midwives feared God as opposed to fearing who? Come on.
The oppressor?
So as opposed to fearing the oppressor, or as opposed to scripture fearing man. Shall we obey man and not God? Or aren't we so obey God and I will obey God and not man? I'm paraphrasing it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. They fear the Lord and not man. They didn't give a damn about him and what the hell he got to say. And brother, that's what you need to survive in this place. And this this current universal administration called Donald Trump and Associates is going to really test if you believe in God or not. It's, you know, no man would be able to lie. No man or woman would be able to fake the funk with this shit right here. It's really going to put you to your limit of, am I standing with God or do I fear this oppressor? It's going to put you there. That's just what it is. That's 4 years of this arc. 4 years of this. I don't know when the disruption phase will stop. I don't know when that disruption phase will stop, because this is a whole phase he's going through now, just disrupting everything. But it's going to be 4 years of mayhem. You figure out which God you're serving. All right, let's keep going.
And did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive.
And that saved the nation. Without that, you would not have a nation. You get the point? They wanted all these male babies dead, primarily because what? The prophecy about Moses. You get the point? About this one child. But it says here, listen, they multiply and faster than we. We had to slow them down. How you slow them down? You stop the factory. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, you're a factory. You make children every day. That sperm that comes out of you is fresh I forget the cycle. What I want to say is every month you turning over, if not, less than that. It's different from a woman. They say a woman is born with a finite amount of the eggs. Like that's it. She don't make no more. Each menstrual cycle, she's passing one. After a certain amount, she ain't got no more. You making them thing until you dead. If they want to stop the population, they have to stop you. You get the point? They have to stop you, which is why it's so important to raise these brothers up into their rightful space. This nation will get fixed if these brothers get the space to operate how they should operate under the spirits of the Most High in Christ. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men, children alive? Verse 19. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women.
Thank the Lord for that. Said the Hebrew women are not like these African women. They ain't dead and boring like that. Go ahead.
For they are lively, and they are delivered. Eerie. Herbs like it. The midwives come in onto them.
Right, meaning these Hebrew women, they're lively, meaning by the time we get together and sanitize everything and come in there with the hot water, they done push the baby out. They're lively. They ain't succumbing under the pain of the birth. They getting into the birth. They're lively. That's the excuse the sisters gave Pharaoh, of course. Yahanna in his ass. But they did it because they know this was wrong. The murder of these babies was wrong. And in the spirit, that's what's happening once you come into the school. Once you come into the Israelite school or I.S.U.P.K, there's a fear that leaves you. Before you in the world, a child would scare you. There's just the response from your family. Imagine going and telling your family, hey, I expected, I got this girl pregnant. Or if you're a sister, hey, I'm pregnant. The amount of scorn you're going to get. You just wrecked your life. How could you do this? You're too young. You're too this. You know what you hear in here? Most brothers and sisters come and when they come to deliver the news, they come with the heaviness from the world. Like, yeah, man, so and so, she pregnant. And brothers like, oh shit, congratulations. And you ain't even looking for that. Forget it if you're a sister. You like, yeah, we're pregnant, and you wondering what you're going to do. You better get ready to get gifts from everybody who within earshot. And that's how it is in here, because we celebrate that thing because it's a gift from the Lord, and it's great. It's excellent to be able to deliver these babies up in here. And you begin to throw away the apprehensions and the fears that you had in the world. And it's put on you in the world. It's really demons. I'm describing it in psychological terms and professional terms, but it's really demons the world puts on you to destroy yourself. Oh my God, I'm having a baby. Is either you go get an abortion or you worry yourself into a miscarriage. And let me just disclaimer, not every miscarriage is because of anxiety and worry. Sometimes things just happen. But, a lot of times you just worrying yourself. You're not sleeping enough. Your appetite is going because you're worrying so much. It's stressing the home now because the brother who you was with, he and all under pressure. That is not the environment for us, man. That's not the environment for us. You come in here, you're going to see how we celebrate just the news of it, much less a baby being born. You get the point? And it creates space for you to do more and produce more, which is why they would look at the Israelite school of I.S.U.P.K as against the grain. And what is y'all doing? Why y'all making so many children? Because the Lord said to. The Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. We ain't going to curb this for you. You understand? But people outside, that's what they're suffering. They're suffering the whole panic of having a child. They're suffering the panic of multiplying, which is what he was put there to do anyway. All right, what verse we at?
Verse 20, sir.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. Therefore, God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Multiplied and, grew strong and powerful, just like we do today. We, grow strong and powerful, better than them, stronger than them, smarter than them, have more morals than them, have more compassion than them. We're just a better people than them all. Go ahead. Verse 21. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. Verse 22. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Late term abortion. Go through, and if you find a baby That's a male. Take that child and throw him in the river. Kill that baby. Every firstborn. Get the point? Like, that's the type of oppression we're under. Now, add that to the rigors of slaving and not making enough money and being under stress and being oppressed. Brother, we're in a very, very bad state. And that's what's really going on with us right now. That's going on with us right now. That's why they're always talking about these young niggas, this generation, that generation. Nobody says, man, the white man is the devil for not making me have the time to deal with the next generation. Because you're working long ass hours. You're on the metro at 6 in the morning, riding a train for 45 minutes to go to a job you hate for 8 or 10 hours or 9 hours. Because now you remember the days where you used to get paid lunch, where the lunch was included in the 8 hours. Because you know what I'm talking about. At one time, the 8 hours, part of that 8 was your lunch. Now you better clock out, nigga. You gonna buy a sandwich? Did you hit that card? Because we ain't paying you to eat. Like, the slavery done increased so much. You getting home by 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. What could you possibly give to anybody else? You're too tired for anything. Anything. We're under stress. It's horrible. And this was going on in Egypt. It's going on now. Where we at?
Chapter 2, verse 1, sir.
All right, we can stop. We could kill it right there. Give me Exodus 2 and 11.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens.
Also, Mathia has the picture. He sent it to you. Most sign, Chris. Go ahead.
And he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together, and he said to him that he did that did the wrong. Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Verse 14. And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us?
Mm-hmm.
And intendest thou to kill me, as thou killed the Egyptian?
All right. So what's going on here? Moses did what? When Moses grew of age, remember he grew up in Pharaoh's house, right? Pharaoh's daughter took Moses in. His mother put him in that basket in that river. Pharaoh's daughter took him in. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's house. You understand? Moses grew up with a ton of power and privilege, way more than the average Israelite would have even received. Right? Damn near grew up as Pharaoh's grandson, basically. And he later grew to become viceroy in Egypt. Viceroy is like vice president, where Pharaoh left him up to everything to run Egypt. So Moses, when he grew of age, he went down to see how his brethren, that's what it says in 11, right? Read 11 one more time.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went unto his brethren
Mm-hmm.
and looked on their burdens.
He went unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. What is that telling you about Moses?
He knew he was a Hebrew.
He knew he was an Israelite because he went out there to look at his brothers. He counted the rest of Israel who was in slavery, in bondage, under the rigors as his brothers, as his brethren. It didn't say he went out to the people who slaved under the Egyptians to see how they were doing. He said he went out to his brethren. Go ahead.
And looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren.
Right, and he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew. The Egyptian is the slave master. The Hebrew is the slave. Moses saw police brutality in Egypt. He saw the oppressor beating the oppressed. He saw the slave master fighting the slave. He saw the Egyptian smiting a Hebrew. He saw somebody from another race beating somebody from his race. That's what's recorded in the Bible. That's what's going on with us today. You could see that anywhere you live, in any society, whatever language you speak, whether it's on the barrio or the reservation or in the ghetto, you would find that everywhere, where these oppressors will beat one of your own, beat them like a dog, and you will witness it. You will see it. You get it? When Moses saw this back then, slavery in Egypt, slavery in America, it's the same thing. Same thing. George Floyd, he saw George Floyd. He saw Trayvon Martin. He saw Philando Castile. He saw, everybody else, Oscar Abrego, everybody who you could think of, even the brothers and sisters who ain't get so much media coverage. That's what Moses saw. And Moses was angry, and he put that oppressor in the ground. He planted that oppressor. He took that oppressor's life. He should not have did it, but he got angry and did it. He did it. He hit him in his sand. That's what Moses did. And Moses was, Pharaoh's grandson. He grew up with that privilege and prestige. So what would smite him to do this thing? Seeing the oppression. It drove him to do something unthinkable. Imagine living it. If Moses came from a privileged background. If Moses saw this and lost it, now you understand why we live how we live. Because we live in this thing. Why black people act so crazy? Why are we so this? Because we living the thing Moses saw every day. He came down there and couldn't believe his people was living like this, and he lost it. Imagine waking up every day in it. You're going to be a little crazy. You're going to be a little unstable, a little unhinged. You're going to have depression issues. You're going to have anxiety, esteem issues. You're going to have some problems. Go ahead.
So would you say he lost it because he looked around first? You know what I mean? Like he had the presence of mind to look around and see if anybody saw him first.
Hell yeah, he had the presence of mind, because that's Pharaoh's son. You get the point? He ain't just a nobody. That's Pharaoh. But he lost it, which is why he looked around. He's not, don't think lost it like a crime of passion. He just saw red and spazzed out. Don't think that. He lost it in terms of he committed murder. It wasn't self-defense. You get the point? If it was self-defense, he wouldn't have hit the body. Moses said, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. You doing what? Nah. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do this. He didn't know no better. He had no understanding of how to free the Lord's people. So that's what he did. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, two men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Verse 14.
You know how to read the verse. Just keep reading.
And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killed the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian.
Right. So now he went out the next day and saw two Israelites fighting. What did he witness? Black on black crime. Moses in 24 hours saw police brutality and black on black crime in the same mix, in the same thing, and realized this was a symptom of slavery. These two things are symptoms of slavery, and that's what we experience today. Police brutality and black on black crime. So much so when we talk about police brutality, what do they say?
It was awful.
That too. Well,
We're killing each other.
But you're killing each other. When we talk about police brutality, they say, well, you all do it to each other. Moses saw both of that in the same, damn near the same 24-hour period. They said the very next day he came out and saw that. When he tried to stop it, they came up against him like, nigga, who the hell, who made you king? Who died and leave you and you in charge, nigga? What you gonna do? Kill me like you killed the Egyptian? You get the point? Like, that's how we live today. Moses saw that, what, 4,000 years ago, maybe 5,000 years ago? It's the same slavery we're living in. Slavery in Egypt, slavery in America. It's the same thing. You go out there on the corner and you speak against police brutality and these racist oppressors taking our lives into their own hands. They come up against us and they say, what? Y'all kill each other anyway. We talk to our people and tell them, we got to stop selling drugs, stop getting high, stop murdering each other. Who the hell is you to say what? None of us is perfect. It's the same thing. You understand? It's the exact same thing. We going through the same motion. And a time is coming when the Lord is going to deliver us out of this hell. That time is very, very close, very, very near. In the last, what, two weeks? I think every other day a plane fell out of the sky. I think every other day planes crash or fell out of the sky. I think one jet fell out of the sky where in Seattle some yesterday. I think it's yesterday. And he ejected the seat and a fish had to pick him up. Say it again.
San Diego, sir.
San Diego. Jet just fall out the sky. I don't know. Maybe the Lord showing them niggas something up there. And they just ain't saying it. Maybe they're all flying and seeing something nobody else is seeing. The scriptures say the Lord will begin to visit the house of the thief with the curse. That's in the Bible. This is the curse that goeth before the world and will begin to visit the house of the thief. I don't know what the hell going on up there, but shit, I ain't get into so many car accidents ever. Them niggas having an incident every other day. I mean, I'm talking about planes just falling out of the sky or crashing into each other. The Lord is beginning to visit this place, man. He's beginning to do it. And as he's beginning to do it, these oppressors are going to turn up the volume. They're going to tighten the screws on Israel. And you're going to have to stand with the Lord, man. You're going to have to be ready and willing to stand with the Lord no matter what is on the outside. No matter what is threatening on the outside or what might seem extreme on the outside, you're going to have to stand with the Lord and know what this is. Like, this is the beginning of your time. This is the beginning of your time to be in power, to be in rulership, and for these heathens to perish and never ever return to power again. Now it's time for them to go into slavery. Now it's time for them to serve you for 400 years, 800 years, as the Bible says, reward her double. Now it's time for you to be in charge and you decide who eats and who doesn't eat. You get the point? You decide which country lives where. You know, when I say which country, of course, I'm talking about the people. Where you get to live and where you don't get to live. Where's off limits? Where's on limits? You get to have real, true power as the Lord intended. And these heathens are going to serve you with all honor, and they better serve you with all honor. All right? We good? Any questions on that, Bukhara? Yeah. All right? So that's it there. We just touched on the slavery in Egypt, slavery in America. Once again, we are not African. The Africans are our oppressors. We are not the same people. We done served them, and the Lord slaughtered them for Passover in Egypt many years ago. And the Lord is going to do the same to America. That's why we celebrate the Passover, as I just mentioned. We celebrate it because the Lord gave us our independence in the bloodshed of, the heathen, in the bloodshed of the oppressor. Right? With that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shapat.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We at I.S.U.P.K security. We at I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street. Let me start off. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We at I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and Commander General Yahanna. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashir. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, Purim, the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, Thursday the 13th of March and Friday the 14th of March, 2025. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. Also, we got the Lord's 56th annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia, Saturday, April the 12th. It's in the space of a whole week. You know what I'm saying? $200 for your Passover fee. Make sure to get there in ASAP for all adults. You know what I'm saying? For the whole week of activities, we're going to have a ball for the whole week. You know what I'm saying? It's worth that $200 and more. You know what I'm saying? Also, get your travel arrangements together. You know what I'm saying? Book your hotels. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do that early so you don't have any problem. If you're having a problem with travel arrangements or anything like that, financial, make sure to get in touch with the camp leader in your city. You know what I'm saying? To make sure, because going to the Passover is a commandment from the Lord. It's a necessity. You know what I'm saying? Shalak, anything else anybody want to add? Awesome. Ramaya Akman Akwafia. Check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband, and scarf. And with that, I say remind you, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, remind Shabbat, remind you. Barak, Yahanna, Shabbat, Yagimata, class dismissed.
Welcome to Atlanta. Crisis Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Yahanna.
Our great and holy King have honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're